Warren Buffett. I mean, the name itself is basically synonymous with investing genius, right? But how did the Oracle of Omaha actually build his empire? You might think it's all about complex algorithms or these crazy, risky bets, but it's not. It was through a clear, powerful, and honestly, a surprisingly simple philosophy. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to deconstruct that blueprint using his very own words as our guide.
And we're starting with the one quote that pretty much defines his entire approach. It sounds almost comically simple, doesn't it? But this isn't a joke. This is the absolute bedrock of his strategy. Everything else we're about to talk about is built on this one unwavering foundation, the preservation of your capital. So, okay, how does he actually do that? I mean, how do you never lose money? Well, he follows a few core, non-negotiable rules that guide every single decision he makes. Now, this isn't about being scared or timid, it's just about simple math. For Buffett, the potential for upside is always secondary to the risk of a permanent loss. I mean, think about it. If you lose 50% of your money, you need a 100% gain. You have to double your money just to get back to where you started. By making loss avoidance the number one priority, the gains, well, they tend to take care of themselves. This is his second non-negotiable, and it's such a powerful defense against losing money. It's a direct order to yourself to just avoid the hype, to ignore these complex trends you can't really explain, and to stay firmly within your own intellectual backyard. And this gives us the mental model he uses. He calls it the circle of competence. And what's really key here isn't how big your circle is. It's about knowing exactly where the edge is and then having the discipline to never step outside it. You don't have to be an expert on everything, not at all. You just have to be an expert on the things you actually own. But, knowing your circle of competence, that's only half the battle. The secret ingredient that makes it all work is patience. An incredible amount of patience. See, Buffett doesn't play for the next quarter's earnings report. He plays for the next generation. He doesn't just invest, he plants trees. This quote just perfectly captures the essence of true investing. It's not about quick wins or chasing the daily market news. It's about putting your capital into productive businesses and then having the discipline, the sheer willpower to let them grow, sometimes for decades, until they provide that shade. So how long is a long time in Buffett's world? He's got a simple test for this, a mental hurdle that every single investment has to clear. And the number? Well, it might be a little bigger than you think. This thought experiment is just so powerful because it forces you to completely ignore the daily noise, the blips on the screen, and focus only on the quality of the actual business. Would you be happy owning that company, just collecting its profits, if you literally couldn't sell your shares for 10 years? If the answer is no, you're not investing, you're speculating. And this right here, this is the classic Buffett contrarian streak. He gets that the best opportunities pop up not when things are popular and prices are sky high, but when there's fear and pessimism in the air. Following the herd is a recipe for average returns, at best. To do better, you have to think for yourself. And this independent thinking, this is the source of his true superpower, the ability to see a crucial distinction that most investors just completely miss. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. It's so simple, but he believes the single biggest mistake people make is mixing these two things up. The price is just a number on a screen. It's a fleeting data point. The value, that's the real underlying worth of the business. The whole game for him is to buy that value for way less than its price. And here's how that principle plays out in the real world. A cheap price can be a total trap if the business itself is just mediocre. But a truly wonderful company, one with a real, durable competitive advantage, that's a value compounding machine. Paying a fair price for that kind of quality is actually one of the best deals you'll ever find. But what makes Buffett's wisdom so enduring is that these principles, they stretch far beyond a stock portfolio. They really form a complete philosophy for life. And we'll start with just a touch of his trademark humility and humor. It's a great little reminder that despite the billions, he's still grounded, unpretentious and completely self-aware. Just like your money, your reputation is an asset you compound over decades. And just like your money, it has to be protected above all else because it is incredibly fragile and it's nearly impossible to get back once it's gone. At its core, this is all about understanding that you are the average of the people you spend the most time with. Buffett really believes in this kind of behavioral osmosis. If you want to get better, surround yourself with people you admire. Their habits, their integrity, their mindset, it will inevitably start to rub off on you. And ultimately, none of this, not the investing success, not the reputation, not the personal growth, none of it is possible without this core driver. For Buffett, passion isn't just some nice-to-have thing. It's the fundamental fuel source for a successful and a truly meaningful life. But all of this, it leads to a final critical question. What is all this wealth and success actually for? For Buffett, the answer isn't about accumulation. It's about obligation. This really frames his entire view on philanthropy and his social responsibility. He sees his immense success not as a privilege to be hoarded, but as a profound duty to give back and improve the very society that made that success possible in the first place. And so we end by turning his ultimate investing test back on ourselves. And it's a really profound question that applies to so much more than just stocks. Think about it, your job, your relationships, your big life choices. If you were locked in for a decade, would you still be happy? That right there is the Buffett test for a life of true value.